Last week, I did a video cautioning people about Sunterra and some of the information about the investors that are within the community and some of the problems with the developer has had in the past. I got a little bit of backlash from that video, mostly from current residents and some of the home builders within that community. The intention of that video was not to be completely negative and to discourage people from buying in Sunterra, and I'm almost positive most people who are complaining about it did not watch that video all the way through. The point of that video was to give you information beyond the amenities available as well as the types of homes you could build within that community. As I said in that video, I make these videos with the intention that if I were moving to another housing market, I would want to know the good and bad of the areas I were considering so that I could look at my own personal circumstance and situation and make an informed decision. And it's really hard to do that if you don't have all the facts in front of you. So since last week we talked about the concerns of Sunterra, especially with the abundance of investors they're allowing into that community, and if you missed that video, I will link it here. Today I'm going to talk about the positives of Sunterra and why I like Sunterra, and I've helped many home buyers purchase into this community. Number one is that 80% of Sunterra is located within Katy ISD, especially what has already been built. And if you're unfamiliar with the Houston market, Katy ISD is one of the #1 rated school districts within the Houston metro area. It is very highly regarded and highly demanded. So if you are purchasing a home and school districts are really important to you and you would like a new construction home, then Sunterra definitely offers that. In Houston, especially in our suburbs, the school districts and the school ratings are a huge driving force on the demand and the appreciation of particular homes and neighborhoods. So if you buy a home that is zoned to Katy ISD, then you are definitely going to see a little bit of appreciation with your home. Number two is affordability. Affordability is real right now. It is super expensive to buy a house. The interest rates are really high. The house prices are extremely high. And owning a home is by far better than renting a home and a better use of your money and investments, so long as you plan on holding on to that property for 5 or more years. Sunterra has an excellent selection of entry-level to affordable builders. So if you are seeking a large master plan community that has all those big amenities while also being able to buy a new construction home at an affordable price, then Sunterra is a great option. It is the only master plan community on the west side of Houston that has an abundance of affordable home builders to choose from. So it's a really good option if you're looking to invest in real estate and you're trying to find an affordable home. And because there are so many home builders in Sunterra, in fact, I think the last count was about 32 home builders, there is a lot of opportunity for good deals and incentives because, of course, the builders are competing with themselves. So you can find rate buy downs, you can get credits towards closing costs. Most of these incentives are going to be if you close within 30 days of the home builder, that's where you're going to get the best incentives. But overall, if you are looking for an affordable master plan community in Katy, Sunterra is a really good option. I have probably built with more than a half a dozen builders within Sunterra over the last couple of years, and I would say 90% of the experiences have been positive, so long as you go in with the expectation given the tier of builder you're building with and the phase of construction you're in. But overall, the home building experience within Sunterra has been pretty positive. Number three is that Sunterra has unique amenity ideas. We have a couple of master plan communities throughout Houston and throughout Texas that have this Crystal Lagoon concept that have done fairly well in the past. This is going to be the first Crystal Lagoon on the west side of Houston, so this potentially is a really good selling feature, especially because it's zoned to Katy ISD. As I said in the last video, the developer has had some delays along the ways and they have changed the plans a little bit, like the size of the lagoon and things like that, but overall they are still promising a lagoon, and I was there just recently and it looked like they were doing construction, so I do anticipate that it probably will open in 2025. And not only that, they have the Crystal Lagoon, but they also have the Lazy River amenity, and they have some pocket parks and playgrounds and some walking trails. So overall, the master plan community itself is a really good value because you can get an entry-level builder in a mega master plan community that is zoned to a really good school district, which, side note, is why a lot of investors are also heavily interested in Sunterra. Number 5 is community. Y'all, Sunterra has a really good neighborly community. Not only has the developer and the HOA itself tried to organize mixers and get-togethers so that you can get to know your neighbors, the residents themselves have taken initiative and made lots of small groups. They've made softball teams, they have movie night. There's lots and lots of ways to get involved with your community and to meet like-minded people. They are not going to seek you though, so when you move into the community, you're going to have to find ways to get connected. But if you do seek it, you will find it in Sunterra. Community in particular has blown me away by how strong and connected they are and how they've all band together to come and try to question the developer on some of the promises that were not delivered in the beginning stages. Number 6 is the home value. I have said this about Sunterra since the very beginning, and I say it about a lot of master plan communities that are breaking ground. If you get in the very beginning stages, you are going to have built-in equity, especially if you're one of the first sections or you are there before all the major amenities are built, because once those amenities built in and you don't have to use your imagination as much, the home prices and the demand go up. So if you were one of the residents that got in early, you got in Katy ISD, you got in before the amenities and the lazy river and the lagoon come, then you are in a really good position because you are going to have some built-in equity, especially if you wait to sell until the community is completed, because if you buy it and then try to sell it a year later, you are going to have to compete with a bunch of home builders, and as you know, they have crazy incentives right now that are really hard for home sellers to compete against. Another thing to really take into consideration is that honestly, Sunterra is one of the few master plan communities that are actually available within Katy ISD right now that have multiple home builders available with inventory. We have Cane Island, we have Jordan Ranch, but those are either in closeout or they're switching over to another ISD. So if you really have your heart set on new construction within Katy ISD and in a major master plan community, then really Sunterra is your primary option as of 2024. This too is going to bring appreciation in coming years, especially if there is limited space left within Katy ISD to build. Per my other video, this is also why it is attracting so many investors and why honestly I think the developer should on the investors. If I offended anyone in my previous video about bringing attention to the amount of investors and rentals within that community, or the fact that they have an obscene amount of entry-level builders within that community, it was not to offend anyone, but it was to bring attention to it. And I hope that the residents who are concerned about it bring it to the developer and HOA's attention and try to get it changed. I have seen other master plan communities that do not allow investors into their community. You'll have to be your primary residence for at least 1 year, meaning that you are physically going to live in that house for a year. Otherwise, they're not going to sell to you. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe as it helps the algorithm know that this is good information. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.